So we discussed about CRR, SLR and bank rate, right? So today we will complete the other quantitative measures. So we'll start with, you can give a heading, liquidity adjustment facility. Liquidity adjustment facility. Okay. So if you see here, let's say this is money supply and I take time here. Okay. So like money supply is going like this, coming down, going and remain stable, then going up, then coming stable. Okay, let me mark it as 2, 3, 4 different time periods. This is one, and this is second, this is T1, this is T2, this is stable T3, this is T4, like that. Okay, so on my x-axis I am taking time and y-axis I am taking money supply. So what do you think, which situations are abnormal here? Which situations are abnormal?
So between T1 and T2 and between T3 and T4.
This is abnormal situation. There is a huge fluctuation, right? So between T3, T4 also fluctuations are there. So what is the problem with T1, T2? T1, T2, if you see, what is the problem? Excess money supply or shortage of money supply?
It's a shortage of money supply.
So here you can see shortage of money supply. So what RBI need to do here?
So reduce the CRR, SLR.
Means you tell me, don't talk technically. If shortage is there, what RBI need to do?
They have to increase the money supply.
They need to, so in shortage, RBI have to infuse money, right? So RBI have to infuse money. So here, T3, T4, Shivangi, your mic is on.
Reduce the money supply.
So T3, T4, it is excess money supply, right?
Yes.
So here it is excess. So what RBI need to do? RBI have to suck out, right? Suck out the money from the market, right? So let's not talk from CRR, SLR, bank rate point of view here. We will talk from repo and reverse repo. So repo is actually used in which situation?
Sir, shortage.
So here basically repo, here reverse repo. In general, I explain this, repo can be used in both cases also by increasing, decreasing. So if money supply or money is in short, you simply reduce the repo, that you can actually infuse money supply. Okay, so just keep this in mind and we are going to discuss about repo and reverse repo. Okay, so basically done for this purpose only, to increase and decrease money supply in the abnormal situations. Okay, so just give a heading, repo. Repo stands for repurchase operations or options. Repo. Repurchase options or operations. Under that you can write a definition and I'll explain that definition. Under a repo transaction, central bank purchases a short-term government security. Central bank purchases a short-term government security from banks or financial institutions. From banks or financial institutions with an agreement to sell them back at a predetermined rate and date. At a predetermined date and rate. So what I'm saying is, from bank, RBI purchase what? Government security, right? So RBI buy government security. So when RBI buy government security, what RBI will give? What RBI will give? Money, rupee, okay. And what is the agreement? What is the agreement?
It's a predetermined predetermined rate and date.
At a predetermined rate and date, it will be repurchased. It has to be repurchased, right? Now RBI is buying the GSEC, but it has to be repurchased by the banks. So when the banks repurchase it, what bank need to do? Bank have to give money
To the RBI.
back to the RBI. So this is actually repo transaction. So RBI is purchasing the government security from banks and give money. And for this, there is an interest rate, right? That rate upon which this transaction is happening is what you call as repo rate. Okay, so the transaction, the rate of this transaction is what is called as repo rate. Now, if you see here, banks, otherwise also, just before we have discussed about bank rate also is same, right? Banks will give security to RBI and RBI give money. What is the difference between bank rate and government security? This what we are talking about, repo rate or repo transaction and bank rate? What is the difference?
Sir, here government security is required. Here they are first class security.
Yeah, the difference is this only. Here banks can give only government security. The bank rate, the banks can borrow under first class security. Now, which one is more secure, government security or first class security?
Government securities.
Government security. So what do you think? Where will be the interest more?
First class securities.
So first class security is less secure, so you need to pay more interest. And that's the reason why bank rate is always above what? Repo rate. Okay? Is this okay? So this is usually short term, this is usually done for 2 weeks, fortnight. Okay, so you can write there what is repo rate. It is a rate of interest. It is a rate of interest at which the central bank lends. It is a rate of interest at which the central bank lends to banks or financial institutions, for short period of time against government securities. Okay, so the reason why now RBI will fix only repo rate, which is policy rate. Okay, so repo rate will be fixed. So let's say repo rate is fixed. What is the bank rate? Bank rate will be higher than that. So you can say bank rate actually equal to repo rate plus 0.5 percentage point. So if it is 4% repo rate, what will be the bank rate? 4.5%, like this. Is this clear? What is the problem? If bank rate and repo rate both will be equal, what will be the problem? Do you think bank will borrow under repo rate? If both are equal, let's suppose bank rate is 4%, repo rate also 4%. So do you think bank will borrow under repo rate?
Yes, sir, bank will go for repo rate only.
Why?
As this is more secured.
For whom? Repo rate for whom or secure? You are pledging government security when you are borrowing under repo rate. You are pledging first class security when you are borrowing under bank rate. So which will you pledge? Your better security will pledge or the first class security will pledge?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, you will pledge your first class security, right? So banks will borrow under bank rate only if both are equal. Banks will never borrow under repo rate because banks prefer to keep the government security with banks. So that is the reason why, and also this is not that secure. So repo rate is slightly less than bank rate, and repo rate will be always fixed. What is the difference between percentage and percentage point? So let's suppose if I'm saying, let's say CRR, this 4%. Okay, so if I'm saying percentage, what is 4, let's say 1% of this 4. Let's suppose if I'm saying percentage. Here if you see I've told you percentage point. Okay, so if I'm saying 1% of 4, what is that? 1% of 4 is what?
0.004.
Not 0.04, it is 0.04.
Yeah, 0.04.
Yeah. Okay, so if I'm saying 0.5%, what is that? Half of this? 0.02, right? 0.02? Okay, so if I'm saying bank rate equal to repo rate plus 0.5 percentage, then what will be the rate? 4 is the repo rate and 4 plus 0.02, right? 4.02 should be the bank rate. If I go with percentage, you got it? But if I am saying percentage point, 1 percentage point means if this is 4, this is going to be 5. Or 1 percentage point means it is 100 basis point. Okay, so 1 percent point means 100 basis point. So that is why I can write here if 4 percentage, if it is 0.5 percentage point, it is 50 basis point. So I can actually write 4.5 percentage. This point, have you got it clear? So I won't say it is percentage, it is percentage point. Any doubt here? Many people have doubt here. So why I am saying this percentage point? If this is clear, then it is okay. When I am saying 0.5 percentage point, it is 50 basis point. When I am saying 1 percentage point, then 4 to 5 I can directly write. If I am saying 0.5 percentage point, I can say 4 to 4.5. But if I am simply saying 1 percentage, you need to find what is 1 percentage. This is 1 percentage. This is 0.5 percentage. So this will be the actual value. But that's not the case here. Here we are talking about percentage point. Clear? Confusion is there? Arey yaar, talk something, say something. Okay.
No, sir.
So now let's suppose let's say 20% is your SLR requirement. Okay, 20% is your SLR requirement, and you have exactly this much government securities are there. Now can you borrow under repo rate? You have only 20% GSEC, and that is for your SLR. Can you borrow under repo?
No, sir.
You cannot borrow under repo. You cannot pledge the GSEC which is there in SLR. So if you remember yesterday, I have told you when you wrote SLR, I have told you unencumbered government security, right? Unencumbered means if you pledge this against any loan, that will not be counted as SLR. So if you are using some GSEC for repo rate or pledging with RBI, that will not be used under SLR. Is that clear?
So can you explain just once?
One more time. Yeah, okay. I'll say what I'm saying is you have some government security. If you are pledging that with RBI, here actually you are pledging and you are borrowing under repo transaction. So if that is with RBI, that will not be counted in SLR. So if you have only 20% your GSEC, only 20% GSEC and 20% is the SLR, so you cannot borrow under repo rate. So in which situation you can borrow under repo rate? If you have over and above the SLR requirement, if you have GSEC, then you can borrow under repo rate.
So what is the meaning of this unencumbered?
Unencumbered means it should not have been pledged with the RBI. If government securities pledged in RBI, that will not be counted in those government securities which is pledged with RBI will not be counted in SLR. That's what unencumbered securities. It should not be pledged. Those pledged securities will not be counted. Is this clear?
Okay, sir.
So basically banks, if they don't have extra government security, they cannot borrow under repo rate. So what is the choice? That is why bank rate is there. Now even if you don't have government security, if you have a private security, you can pledge that and you can borrow under bank rate. But the point is you need to pay some 0.5 basis point extra, 0.5 percentage point extra. And just because bank rate and repo rate are different, banks are borrowing under repo rate. If both are same, banks will not borrow under repo rate, because why you are pledging your government securities and why you are compromising your SLR requirements, etc. You can pledge the first class security if both are equal. So that is the logic why both are having different interest rates. 0.5 percentage point extra you need to pay for bank rate. Okay. So repo rate is actually the policy rate now. RBI will announce. Yeah, you can talk, Ashwin. I cannot read in between. It will be difficult. If possible, you can talk in between. No problem.
Sir, sorry to bother.
Yeah.
These policy rates, are they being determined on quarterly basis, sir?
Policy rates?
Are they being determined on quarterly basis or, I mean like half yearly basis, sir?
Quarterly basis, the RBI will come up with this quarterly basis, yes.
Okay, sir. Yes. Just had it out. Sir.
Okay.
Thanks.
So now repo is done. Can we go for reverse repo? So reverse repo is actually the opposite.